It was the middle of a cold October night when park security found something no one expected: a weathered backpack. In its side pocket, bones, scoured by decades of rain and rot. They called it Field Park, but that night it became a graveyard of silence. No ID, no leads, and then, 20 years later, a single line in a YouTube comment shattered everything. In 2003, a boy vanished without a trace. No ransom call, no family desperate pleas, just gone. Until 2023, when a random comment on a cold case video unleashed one of the most astonishing detective stories of our times. Greenwood Park, small town of Maple Ridge. Quiet, peaceful, safe until July 2003. That morning, two campers walking their dog discovered something half buried near the trail. The skeletal remains belonged to an 8-year-old boy. The Meigs County coroner estimated the little boy had been deceased for at least 2 years. Cause of death? Blunt force trauma. No identification. No reports of missing children matching the description. They called him John Doe #03-358. No family came forward. Flyers posted along rural roads. Television news ran it once. Then, radio silence. The police drew a blank. With no missing person match, no school photo, no DNA relative, the boy's identity faded, but the case didn't. We treated him like he was our own. We ticked every box: dentals, bone images, DNA. Nothing. It haunted me. Over the next decade, Greenwood PD passed the case to the state's cold case unit. In 2018, forensic facial reconstruction was released. In 2020, trees covering the park were trimmed and LiDAR scans were done. Still no answers. Reconstructing what little we know. Imagine an 8-year-old walking into Greenwood Park in early spring. Bright sky, birds chirping. His backpack empty, his lunchbox untouched. Around June 2001, his life was cut short. Investigators theorize a chance encounter. Perhaps a driver offered help, or someone spotted him by himself. Witnesses later described a car seen slowly circling an old trailhead that summer, long since gone. That same night, the suspect's car door opened. Ambient shuffling, silence, then a slam, and the boy never returned. Remnants of a red sneaker found in the undergrowth, a torn piece of jacket, and a cell tower ping, June 12, 2001, 8:17 p.m. A phone signal 3 miles south of the park entrance. Each piece felt like the ghost of a puzzle, mocking the investigators. No CCTV, no eyewitnesses, just a few scraps and the forest. It took years of DNA sampling, teeth, femur, hip bone, sent to national databases. Every 2 years, the police would rerun it. They also revisited dental offices and camps nearby. Nothing. In 2021, Greenwood PD launched a YouTube cold case series, Forgotten in the Forest. 3 10-minute episodes summarizing the boy's discovery, evidence, and updates over 18 years. The first video launched on April 12, 2021. Views were low, 1,200, but the footage remained alive and searchable. This child deserves a name. If you know anything, no matter how small, please speak up. In October 2023, Detective McCrae logged in to check comments. Among spam and condolences, one stood out. "That looks like my brother. He vanished in 2001. I'll get a DNA test." The commenter's username was @MapleSys01. No profile pic, just those words. Within hours, Detective McCrae replied, "Please contact investigators. We'll take it from there." Less than a week later, a man named Lucas Harper phoned the sheriff's office. He said he hadn't even caught his breath before seeing his comment. Now the case was moving. He said, "That boy, that was my little brother, Danny." They met, swabbed Lucas's DNA, and 3 days later, the lab called. But what detectives uncovered next was nothing they could have expected. 3 days after Lucas Harper submitted his cheek swab, Greenwood's forensic lab rang Detective McRae's phone. Detective McCrae on phone. "Lucas, the test is a match. We've confirmed. The boy in the park is your brother, Danny Harper. missing since June 2001. McCrae softly. We have his name. The DNA held a single truth. The remains were now named. The legal door to investigation had swung open. Lucas. He was always the quiet one. Lost his shoes chasing frogs near the creek. I never thought I'd find him this way. Lucas greeting his grieving mother and father at a small vigil in the park with Marcus's photo displayed on a folding table. That evening, the Harper family gathered in Greenwood Park, a place tied to loss but now hope. Lucas. Mom. Dad, he's back. Mother, voice breaking. My baby. We can finally lay him to rest. Tears fell silently. 22 years of unanswered questions. Broken beds, empty rooms, whispered memories. All converged into one moment. A name restored. A story found. Wide shot of park at sunset. Vigil candles flickering. But naming Danny was just the beginning. Detectives now had a trail to chase. With a known identity, detectives revisited old leads. Tunnels into the suspect pool reopened. One name resurfaced. John Reynolds. Police files spread across a table. Photos, typed statements, security capture. Reynolds, a local handyman, had been investigated in 2001. He lived 2 miles from the park, reported sightings of children at dusk, and owned a silver sedan that matched eyewitness descriptions. Detective McCrae in an interview. We had circumstantial indicators, but nothing stood up in court. No hard connection. Now, with DNA from the scene, new charges could be considered, and the district attorney signed off on a warrant. In August 2024, the arrest came swiftly. John Reynolds, 47, charged with involuntary manslaughter and child endangerment. The trial began in October 2024. Prosecutors presented DNA evidence, cell tower logs, and Reynolds' own phone records, placing him near Greenwood on June 12, 2001. Prosecutor: Mr. Reynolds, your phone pinged within 500 meters of Greenwood Park at 8:15 p.m., 2 minutes before Danny's disappearance. Defense attorney: there's no direct proof my client harmed the boy. We contend he was merely present, and without witnesses, allegations are speculation. But the DNA fishnet ensnared more than one clue. After weeks of cross-examination, Reynolds confessed. His voice quiet, distorted by waver and exhaustion. Reynolds: I saw him, he was alone. I pulled over to help, I swear. But I panicked when he stumbled, hit his head. I left. I never meant for this. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Verdict: guilty. In January 2025, Judge Bronson sentenced Reynolds to 25 years in state prison. While justice will never undo the tragedy, it confirmed accountability, letting the Harpers tell their child he mattered. National news followed by cable networks. Hashtags trended. Danny's vigil photo lit Facebook and Instagram. Hashtag Danny Harper. Greenwood Park became a pilgrimage site. Media showed up with candlelit crosswalk vigils. Some residents hesitated. Tourism mixed with grief, but the Harpers insisted, this is his place. Maria Jennings, park neighbor, interviewed. We didn't know his name, but the sadness was shared. Now naming him feels right. And across true crime forums, users asked, would one YouTube comment ignite another case's resolution? This proves what YouTubers have said. Eyes can solve what systems forget. Greenwood's case now anchors 2 larger narratives. 1. The profound power of public participation, how digital footprints, even a YouTube comment, can break cold cases. 2. The evolving potency of forensic science, multiplied by human connection. Still, caution wrapped around the celebration. Ethical concerns, privacy, misuse, false hope must be weighed. But Danny's story reminds us, personal action matters. Danny Harper's voice was once silent beneath leaves, but when someone looked closely, typed a haunch, and acted decisively, he got a name. He got justice. Lucas. He's gone, but he's not forgotten. In our interconnected world, every screen holds potential, from a comment, a share, a devotion to one's instincts. And that's the message. Even if hope sleeps, it can stir when we believe it can. Because sometimes, the smallest action breaks the longest silence. In January 2025, John Reynolds was sentenced to 28 years in state prison for involuntary manslaughter and felony neglect of a minor. There was no victory, no celebration in the courtroom that day, only closure. Reynolds' actions robbed a boy of his future, a family of their peace, and a town of its innocence. But finally, Dreana Harper's story had an ending. Lucas, I used to dream he'd just come home, that maybe we got it wrong. Now I know the truth, and it hurts, but it's real. It was a single line typed into a cold case YouTube video, less than 20 words, that sparked a second chance for justice. In a world where millions of comments vanish into the digital void, this one changed everything. Digital forensics expert. This case redefines crowdsourced justice. It wasn't surveillance, AI, or breakthroughs in forensics, it was memory. Online memory. A sibling's intuition meeting the persistence of an open web. In the aftermath, Greenwood PD launched a new initiative, Eyes Open, encouraging public collaboration on long-dormant cases. Thousands of archived records are now available online for community review. Danny Harper now rests beneath a headstone that bears his name, not a case number. A stone placed by his brother, engraved with a simple line, found, remembered, loved. Lucas, I visit sometimes. Isit, and I tell him what's happened since. The world changed, Danny, but we didn't forget you, not for a second. A boy lost in the woods, a case buried by time, and a single sentence online that refused to be ignored. Justice may sleep, but it never dies. B-roll. Families placing candles, scrolling comments thanking the department, Lucas standing silently under the trees.